And we're ready to do the newspapers. Mama V is also here. Mama V, good morning.
Oh, good morning. How are you?
Charlie, when you start like that,
when I start like that.
When you start like that, it means that Charlie, you make stress. Make stress pass.
Charlie, Manta.
Yeah, I know, right? But tomorrow will be Friday, so you get time weekend and make it chill small.
I hope so. I hope so.
People use every day chill. For take holiday, go like Senchi and those things. Go chill. Life.
Give me the days.
We'll go die.
Give me the days of work so I can do that.
Don't worry. Just seek the right permission and I'll give
In fact, book Senchi for me and then I'll go.
Oh, it's not a problem. It's booked. So, sincerely. Oh
my God.
Royal Senchi, good morning.
Which one is booked? You're saying good morning to them.
With the book, we'll book them. Royal Senchi, good morning. What is it?
All right, well, thank you for joining us. Time for the newspapers, for us to review the newspapers and also touch base with myjournal.com. Oh, Roland. Roland will sell me to pay for that hotel.
Oh, how?
Let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page of the Graphic. 9 charged with treason. Communications Ministry launches ICT program for girls. Work on stalled roads will resume soon. President assures Ashanti region. But 9 people, including, and this was in our news, 9 people, including 5 soldiers, have been charged with treason on allegations of plotting to destabilize the country and possibly take over the government. The soldiers are Colonel Samuel Kojo Gamali, Warrant Officer Class 2, Esther San, the co-wine Corporal Seidu Abubakar, Lance Corporal Solomon, Ali Solomon, and there's another Sylvester Akan Pewon. The other accused persons are Dr. Frederick Yao Makpam, a medical practitioner, Donyo Kafui alias Ezor Blacksmith, Bright Alan Deborah, a fleets manager in Gershon Akpa, a weapons mechanic, and the Ghana Armed Forces. So the charges, the accused persons, were sent to the Kaneshie District Court yesterday and charged with 4 counts: conspiracy to commit treason felony, conspiracy to possess explosive arms and ammunition without lawful excuse, and possession of explosives, arms, and ammunition without lawful excuse. So remember when this case first went to court, a lot of criticisms that they had not charged them with anything very substantive. You know, if they feel, if the state felt that they had a strong case against these people, considering the kind of reportage with the statement that was issued from the Ministry of Information and all the conversations around the subject, then we needed to see something more. I guess this is it then.
Yes.
Because these are really serious charges.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's go to page 13. Is it 13 or page 16 of the paper? And then we'll do some other stories. The Attorney General has charged the former Chief Executive Officer of the defunct Capital Bank, William Atu Essien, for his alleged role in the collapse of the bank. In its first criminal action to hit a top executive of one of the collapsed banks, the AG has leveled 26 charges against Essien and 3 former executives of the defunct bank, Fitzgerald Odonko, Kekoti Papafio, and Tetenete. The charges as filed at the Accra High Court include conspiracy to steal, stealing, and money laundering. It is a case of the AG that the 3 accused persons stole, conspired to steal, or laundered more than 220 million Ghana cedis belonging to the bank. And it takes you back in November 2018, the receivers of the collapsed bank, both of PricewaterhouseCoopers, instituted a civil action against Essien and 13 shareholders and directors for allegedly engaging in acts that led to the collapse of the bank. The suit was filed at the Commercial Division of the Accra High Courts. Plaintiffs seeking to use the legal action to recover over 837 million Ghana cedis, being what they said were loans that the shareholders granted to themselves, which remained unpaid. So that's the civil action. What is the latest in terms of these 3 others, Atu Essien and the 3 others? That's a criminal incident, and that's what, again, that's also one of the criticisms with this whole banking saga, the collapse. People say that people haven't been punished. We haven't really seen any real action. And not too long ago, Roland, you'd remember, everybody else would remember, Mr. Atu SCM put up a very strong defense in that conversation with Paul Adomo-Ochre, and said in that interview that how could he, the same person who set up the bank, had gone elsewhere to look for funds to grow the bank and everything, how could he steal from the bank? But if you look at the charges coming up against him and the three others, it seeks to say a different thing. It looks like we'll have to watch and see how things roll out in court.
Yes, but we have to say that the charges really are also related to the audit that was done based on the painstaking investigations, first as published in the Boulders report, and subsequently seem to have been corroborated by the PricewaterhouseCoopers, indicating that there were some level of impropriety. For example, payments were made to the CEO and director of UT Bank from a loan defaulting, and then also loans which amounted to 5 million were also never disclosed to the board of the UT Bank at the time. Some impropriety of using about 86 million were told at the time to also have an investment in a mining concession in Zimbabwe, which subsequently, if you look at that report, had said that some members of the board at the time during that discussion of that transaction were skeptical, but we also had the board chair giving that approval, saying he could vouch for his ability to be able to pay back or return that money back to the coffers of the bank. Because at that time, they were getting some liquidity support in excess of some 600 million from the Bank of Ghana. And if you're getting liquidity support, it also means that you're supposed to use that per what the regulations are of the Bank of Ghana to pay depositors when they come for their money or they have some maturity in their investment. And that's the most important thing. We know that this, among many other related issues, followed subsequently the collapse of other banks, and the report also indicating about the more practices or maladministration by these shareholders and the directors of the bank subsequently. We're hoping that this subsequently will mean that the other banks that had also been subsequently put into some liquidation and also receivership would also have some attention by the courts, especially if not the Attorney General's office.
All right, let's do the back page of the Daily Graphic. President inspects project in Bono. Also, woman arrested for selling people's personal documents. So the story says the Data Protection Commission has intercepted volumes of documents containing people's personal information in a shop at the Medina Market in Accra in a joint operation with the cybercrime units of the La Nkwantanan Medina Divisional Police Command. The documents, mainly transfer letters, promotion letters, school certificate and health records, contained information such as bank accounts of employees, salary records, telephone numbers, social security numbers, and dates of birth. A trader at the market, Miss Nade Jani, was selling the document to roast plantain sellers, selling the document to roast plantain and granite sellers to granite sellers and other petty traders at 50 Ghana pesos for 20 copies. So essentially, she was selling the document to people who roast plantain and also sell granite for 50 Ghana pesos for 20 copies. And these are information, people's personal information. These are records of promotions, telephone numbers. I mean, this is, so somebody is taking these documents from a very important institution and giving it to somebody who absolutely doesn't even know what is in these papers. The documents are stamped by the heads of units of some ministries, including education, health, and private hospitals in the country. The head of the response management team at the DPC, Mr. Dennis Dakwa, said the ministries and corporate institutions involved will be invited for interrogation by the commission. He said yesterday's exercise was meant to send a signal to Ghanaians about the need to handle people's personal data with integrity. Just going to a shop and seeing this and taking them and interrogating people actually does not scare Ghanaians. You know what scares Ghanaians? The Data Commission is actually you prosecuting someone, letting somebody face the law and getting to the bottom of it. That is what will scare Ghanaians. But this operation that you did, You know, we encourage that you do more of it, but
Yeah.
see to the end of it. That is what will send the strongest signal to anybody ever. We've for like forever been seeing people selling. With
Sometimes
these
you find
important
people's
documents.
diplomas and certificates, either photocopies of them, etc. But the thing is, it contains people's data or information.
Whoever is giving them
yeah.
out simply doesn't care. But then again, it comes back to how are we even keeping these documents in these ministries and these departments, these agencies? How are we even keeping them? Is anybody accountable? Is it just like an office or a room where we've just pushed these documents so that people don't even see that they are useful documents?
And the point is that until recently, we didn't have the various MMDAs creating like archives by way of using information technology, and so trying to put them in some e-data or database, for example. Now, after you've done the transfer, what do you do with the papers? There should be some properly secured means of shredding them, so that the public or whoever thinks that they're just riffraffs in some patch place in the office just don't go pick them and feels that nobody has any need for them, and so would have to go. Because over the years, we've seen either people's bank accounts, statements, etc. in the public domain.
I mean, I bought granite in the past where they put it in.
You've been a beneficiary.
Yes, of somebody's. Sometimes it's somebody's accounts records. You know, like.
Yes, definitely. And we're talking. Sometimes you can have people's hospital records, and you get to find out that look. And I remember there was a particular time that somebody's certificate was, and that person apparently was a public person also. So it was also just going around social media.
The day somebody will sell your own certificate, put roasted plantain and granite in your own certificate, that's when you realize that this is really important. Yes. This is a big issue. Let's do the Ghanaian Times real quick. Front page, plot to destabilize country, 9 charged with treason felony. Atuesi and 3 others charged over Capital Bank collapse. Ghana Post set to grow market share. Communications Ministry launches Miss Geek Ghana competition for girls. Court acquits Dr. Benfo, and Accra Circuit Court on Tuesday acquitted Dr. Dominic Kwame Obeng and the proprietor of the Obenfo Hospital located in Weija in Accra. That story we shared on myjoyonline.com. In the center spread of the paper, trader arrested for selling personal details of public service workers. We've dealt with that subject. President endorses Ali Duseidu to contest Aswase parliamentary seats in 2020. This is crucial. Well, the president has endorsed Mr. Ali Duseidu, the Asante Mampo Municipal Chief Executive, to contest the parliamentary seats in Aswase. The president's endorsement comes few days after the Ashanti Regional Executives of the NPP defied a court order to declare Mr. Seidu as the candidate for popular acclamation. He was given the nod in spite of an interim injunction from a Kumasi High Court, which was obtained by Mr. Manaf Ibrahim, an aggrieved contender, to put the election on hold. Prior to the developments, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the party, Bernard Nchibue Siako, Chairman Wontumi, has stated that the party would hold the exercise in Aswase constituency despite any court injunction, and that's exactly what they did. Well, they would go on and tell you the rest of the story, the president's endorsement. But what did the court do, really, when the party in the region flouted or went ahead to do something that they were not supposed to do? Let's do the back page of the paper. Sexual harassment goes beyond BBC expose, according to the gender minister. Government to make private sector center of development. Let's do the business. Business Finder. The Finder 10 in business on Thursdays. Front page of the Business Finder. Collapse of Capital Bank. Atuesi and 3 others charged, accused of stealing, abetment, and money laundering. Ghana rated 7th wealthiest country in Africa, and 1.4 million beneficiaries receive 80 million Ghana cedis leap cash. The Daily Statesman. At last, the bankers will account. Essien, 3 others charged as prosecutions of failed bank owners begin. Stay focused as Santehene encourages president Mesty to partner Presby Church to produce cotton bags. These are the front page headlines, if you like, in the Daily Statesman. Roland would continue with the custodian.
Yeah, let me start with the custodian. Let me rather continue with the custodian. He has on the front page, Attorney General strikes Bank wreckers. Atuasian and Co charged for stealing 100 million Ghana cedis, money laundering also in there. Now, up there, we have 9 coup plotters charged with treason. And we saw all the skirmishes about libation, etc. Charlie, we're traditional worshippers, right? In the name of Jesus, amen. Remain focused on your mandate. Otumfor to Akufo-Addo. And we have Zimbabwe power tariffs up by 320. And this morning I was listening to a BBC and
yeah,
it was terrible.
Zimbabweans are saying it was difficult.
Yeah, and there was a particular scenario that, yesterday. There was a particular scenario in which somebody said his salary, he's a medical doctor, his salary couldn't take care of his fuel for his car for a week. The salary that he collects in 4 weeks couldn't take care of his fuel.
Yeah.
For a week.
Yeah.
I think it just took him up to 5 days.
I listened to a mother who has a daughter, 26-year-old, who has a degree. She can't get a job. There's simply nothing that she could do. And they've got 2 cars. So she has a car and one
a middle level.
And they're both parked. They don't have fuel in.
That's true.
They're living on just, benefits of people who particularly live in the UK. So different people sharing their personal stories of the situation in Zimbabwe. It's really, really terrible. So they have frequent blackouts and the electricity is also very expensive. So everything going wrong in Zimbabwe.
Haywire.
Yeah.
Zimbabwe. Let's say a prayer for them. On the back page, England to walk off in Euro 20 qualifiers over racism. Back page of the Custodian. And for those who support Manchester United, there's an appropriately captioned story on the back page of the Custodian Sports for you. It's there. Solskjaer's job at Man United shaky. Actually, he has to be sacked tomorrow. I'm wondering why he's still keeping his job.
But I don't know. This headline is not like a boom kind of headline. I don't
You
know
mean
why
it's
you
normal?
said that, like shaky.
Charlie,
I thought you were going to say sacked or something.
How Manchester United fans have gravitated towards having the emotional posture of Arsenal fans, I don't know. Now moving on, I wanted Ronaldo to stay at Real Madrid according to Messi. Oh boy. No, how I dream, Messi. Now let's go to the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Has on the front page, Ghana Railways master plan, and you have to see the back page. And I have my good friend in Boku, who is the head of pharmacy at the Boku Presbyterian Hospital, Salifu Combat, and the wife Flora, who wish that the rail lines will get to Boku so that when they're traveling to Accra, it's easy.
We have papers to do.
It's not a request. This one is something that they want. Salifu Combat, good morning to you. On capital issues, Atuasian and 3 others face 7 pages of charges.
They face pages of charges?
7 pages.
Hey.
Charlie, I love this one.
Hey,
Uncle Ben Epson, Potro Michelle.
Master, don't laugh. You don't laugh that well like that.
Atuasian and 3 others face 7 pages of charges. I have to ask Joseph Akable whether this headline is even more appropriate. Charlie. Bishop Ajiasari on homosexuality. And then we have 9 persons charged with treason. And Joseph Akable witnessed the pouring of libation to the gods of Avatime, Peki, Alavanyo, many of those areas, including Pando. Good people of Pando, good morning to all of you. Let me do the daily guide. On the front page, we have coup plotters charged with treason. Has an inserted picture of the President Akufo-Addo, promising the residents of Kumasi, the Ashanti Regional Capital, stronghold of the MPP, I will fix Kumasi roads. Nana. Now, what an appropriate headline. Dr Dominic Kwame Obinfo freed, it says, and Atuasian charged. On the back page is all about Messi, Korea signing, Akapo Patron, Konedu hailing Black Stars B for their waffle final ticket. There were 3-1 winners against Cote d'Ivoire, and then we have Milan fans angry over ex-Inter coach appointment. Stefano Pioli has been appointed as their coach. They're not happy about it. And Mama V, do we have to do myjoyonline.com?
Yeah, we have to go to myjoyonline.com. There's this interesting story about Ghana being rated 7th wealthiest country in Africa in the Business Finder. I thought I'll share a bit. Which city do you think is the wealthiest in Africa? Not
South
a hard
Africa.
guess. Yeah, definitely Johannesburg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Accra is the 10th wealthiest African city.
Wealthy.
Yeah, 10th. 10th. You know, when you hear 10th,
No, but that's good.
Africa. Oh.
Forget it.
Master Africa.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the world.
Oh, but Africa, we got many countries of Africa. We 56 countries where we are, 57. Yeah. So if we be 10, Charlie, it means that some 46 be there behind us. Charlie, forget about that. Ghana we force.
But the 46, well, what kind of record? But we're second in West Africa behind Lagos.
Yeah, but Lagos.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, let me
which country is second?
Let me give a
which country
is
second?
Let me
Cairo.
Let me just, yeah, I think so. Yeah, maybe. Well, so now that you talk about Cairo, Egypt is valued at 303 billion US dollars with 870 multi-millionaires, 56 centi-millionaires, and 6 billionaires. Nigeria is worth $225 billion with 500 multi-millionaires, 27 centi-millionaires, and 4 billionaires.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Ghana. Ghana is worth 59 billion with no billionaire, but we've got 120 multi-millionaires and 4 centi-millionaires according to the report. And this is the Africa Wealth Report by the New World Wealth and Aphasia
But
Bank.
Ghana, we should get a billionaire. Every time somebody is coming up, then Charlie, they're coming up, then you see robots bringing the person down.
So South Africa has over twice as many millionaires as any other African country.
I know that in Cairo they have a lot of billionaires. Yeah.
South Africa remains the wealthiest country in Africa in total wealth, and followed by Egypt and Nigeria in second and third position respectively. So South Africa, Nigeria, and South Africa, Egypt, Nigeria. South Africa is worth 649 billion US dollars with 2,070 multi-millionaires. That's over 2,000 of them. 94 centi-millionaires and 5 billionaires. Yeah, man. Child, I want to be in this kind of record. Like, I don't just want to read about the statistics. I want to be that stats. Let's do myjournline.com.
But do you know why?
Keep dreaming on.
Do you know why I doubt the Accra thing? You know, we could have some people inching up to the billion mark that we think. They're afraid.
They're
afraid.
If you have, listen, we for no. I mean, what's the point?
Maybe you they think so.
All right, let's bring you my Journline, can we? Okay, yes, here we go. Short commission government's white paper not white enough, according to former secretary to the IGP. That's Peter Tobu. Remember that the commission, it's a members of that commission, has since not said anything. They haven't reacted to the government's white paper, even though Mr. Emil Short recently made some commentary, public comment, not in relation to this.
On political party
executive being more powerful and ministers.
And why they want
remain
a chunk
focused,
of the
deliver on your
national
mandate of 2-4 to Ekufuado. Sexually provocative dressing should not justify harassment, according to the minister.
I agree.
Totally. Reduction of presidential age would deepen inclusive democratic governance.
I don't understand this one. Can we go back? I don't. So we should reduce the age for being a president.
After there are so many things that we say in Ghana, and we think it's actually the solution to something. I don't know. Maybe
we already have the solutions we're not implementing.
Reduction of, okay, let's move on. Government must, where are we? Government must have single stance on CSE, according to Foamweni. We absolutely agree. I mean, it's still to think that the agency responsible, the specific agency for education, couldn't get whatever the ministry wanted to say or the presidency wanted to say. Like, I don't, still some confusion.
Meaning that the ministry had.
And then if you talk,
then they got education.
They say the people who raise the issue say they are satisfied, so we should all keep quiet. Amend legal education law now. Law student to Ekufuado. Atwesi and 3 others charged over collapse of Capital Bank. And 9 charged with treason felony over a larger coup plot. There are more stories that you can explore on myjoyonline.com, such as this: our credibility at stake if MMDC's referendum fails, according to Ekufuado. I've been thinking about this subject of electing MMDCs, and we can all jump on that and go with it. But have we paused to think the kind of blame game that will begin to come up when monies are not released, when something is not done? It's easy for the government to say, oh, go and ask your DC, you voted for him, he's accountable to you. It's easy for the DC to say,
whilst they're waiting for some subvention that's never coming.
Exactly. So, you know, we have to take our time and talk about that aspect as well.
Yeah, I think so.
It's not all about asking people
I
to
know
vote,
that the Member of Parliament for Ekrapim South, Obiamo, has been very instrumental in educating us, also Deputy Minister for Local Government and Rural Development. It does very well in explaining the issues. The only difficulty I have is that it's not all the cities or the districts, metropolitan and municipal assemblies are liquid or could raise enough revenue. But it's also to make sure that those who are elected become financially ingenious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you need to have strategy. Yeah, I think so.
All right, but something
maybe you never have to contest for MC for Shaiman.
Yeah. There's something happening
I'm announcing my bid.
Something happening here in our offices tomorrow. We encourage all of you to come by. So, you know, on the AM show, we have our own breast cancer awareness campaign, which is supported by the Nyaho Clinic, okay? And Roland is our ambassador, if you like. But on radio, on Joy 99.7 FM on the Cosmopolitan Mix, we also have a campaign that's supported strongly by the Trust Hospital. So tomorrow, in our offices here in Kokomlemle, we have a free breast examination and breast cancer education. It will be from 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m. Okay? We encourage all of you to come by. If it's easy for you to come to our offices tomorrow to have your breast examined, it will be really good. And this is not just to women. This is not just to women. This is to men as well. Okay?
Yeah.
We know that there's just a very small percentage.
Today, the guest from Nyaho is doing breast examination.
Okay, all right. So you can stay with us here on the AM show. You need a volunteer, but you can do it yourself. I mean, men are also. You think what you have is what, chests?
What's it?
You can also do the examination.
Flat and macho.
Aha. So you see, that's the thing. So it will be good. It will be good to use yourself so we can check how men can also check. It is breast. We're going to use you. You are the test case for us this morning, because men think that they don't have breasts, so they are not part of this whole breast cancer campaign. They are. Roland is our ambassador, so we're going to start with him so that we can let men also learn how to check. So I'm absolutely stay with us. We've got sports. We'll bring you details of sport right after this.